know, I really feel like Source in the universe tests you. Like it'll give you something that's really close to what you want. Yeah. So close to it, but there's a thing that you know that is not ideal for you, and it'll see if you take it. It'll see if you truly trust in yourself and your vision, and if you're gonna wait for that thing that you truly want, or if you're just gonna take something that's like almost there and like almost okay, you know? And I apply that into every aspect of my life, relationships, friendships, work, jobs, no matter what it is. I'm like, just because it's almost what I want, if it's not something that feels good to me and it doesn't feel good in my heart and soul, I don't need it.
Hi, gay. I'm PJ Brescia, they, them pronouns, your host of the BabyGay Podcast and the founder of the BabyGay community, celebrating the coming out process through storytelling, advocacy, and togetherness. I came out later in life and I knew nothing about queer culture. I'm still not an expert, so let's go on a journey of self-discovery together with amazing guests, diverse coming out stories, LGBTQI plus history, and everything in between. This is the BabyGay Podcast. Coming out looks good on you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BabyGay Podcast. I'm your host, PJ Brescia, they, them, and today we're here at the historic Black Cat in Silver Lake, California, and we have a very special guest. He is a singer, songwriter, and just general queer icon, Bryce Xavier.
Hello.
Yay.
So happy to be here.
Me too. This has been not a long time in the making, but like we
did some work.
We did some work, but we got here. Like yes. We can go in the spiritual realm. We met in a spiritual place.
Exactly.
And I am one that always just believe like more and more, if things don't work out, don't fight it. Yeah. Just let it be. Like it's either not meant to be or it will be at a later time when it's more perfect.
And here we are. Perfect in the flesh.
Yes. And shout out to Ryan Liu and Delulu, our friend and connector and savior in this scenario.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go into your spiritual journey.
Let's do it.
What is your spiritual journey?
I feel like more so right now, me and my boyfriend actually were just talking about this on the car over here because he was like, he feels like there's something in the air, like in the world right now that's really having everyone feel like a little bit off. And it's been so interesting because so many people have been saying something similar to me. I've been feeling the exact opposite. I've been great. I've been really good, actually.
Good.
It was like a really, really, really stressful August. We talked about this a little bit. To the viewers that don't know, my ceiling fell in my house overnight, randomly collapsed. So it's such like a horrible thing when you hear it at face value, but I feel like it shook me so much off of my normal schedule and the way my comfortability that I had to kind of rebuild, and I rebuilt with like
literally
a bigger and literally rebuild. But I did it with just such a stronger foundation now. Like I feel like I'm like so much mentally happier, spiritually better, like just overall more like confident and like sure of myself. So I went from such like a really interesting and specific ending to my summer to like falls met me very kind. Very kind.
Good. Can you just like paint the picture? What is like, where were you? Like what was happening?
All
like
right. It was 8 a.m.
Okay. Morning seal.
The birds were chirping.
Yeah.
I walked out of my dressing room. So our bedroom's in the back of our house.
Okay.
We have a dressing room, and then we have the entry hallway to our living room. So I go through that dressing room, and it's just bright early in the morning, mind you. Like I have like my bonnet on for my hair. I'm like in my underwear holding my like tote bag because I had to do like all my facial products were still in my bag from the gym. And I go out and I just imagine seeing like water spraying and flushing from your ceiling, and your ceiling's on the floor, and like you just see a hole. That was the first thing. So I closed the door, turn around, set down my bag, take my bonnet off because I was like, maybe there's some like compression or pressure and something like that happening up here. I open back the door and I see that it's still there. And then at that point, I'm like rushing to go turn the water off, the power off, because my like lights from the ceiling are hanging and there's water dripping from them. So it's like exposed wire with water. It was very scary.
Yeah.
And then I woke him up and I was like, did you notice anything weird when you went to sleep last night? You know, like the ceiling on the floor? And he was like, no, oh, I was like, I thought so. I thought you might have brought that up to me, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just was like a whirlwind of a month every day afterwards. And mind you, that was the first day of August. So it was the first of the month. And like the night before was so TV cinematic. Like I had my tea in the exact spot where it like fell, watching like a little show, went to the room to go game. And I was like, good night, world, turned off the lights. Wake up the next morning and the ceiling's on the floor.
So, you seem like you acted pretty calmly in this pretty
That's me, like
traumatic.
in like any type of like situation like that. I definitely am like the calm and collected
That's
one,
amazing.
like in my life, in my friend group, like everything. So I just thought I need to turn the water off, obviously. So then the water stopped pouring all over my house. And then I need to turn the power off because then I'm going to get electrocuted.
Safety first.
Yeah, exactly.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Now, is the calm response, is that active? Like, I need to stay calm and I need to do these? Or is that just inherently
It's just an innate thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I've always kind of been that way. My mom's pretty similar to it, so I think it's definitely one of her traits that I took. But I also think that it was something that I witnessed working well for her, that when I think about it logically, I'm like, yeah, every situation that I saw my mom meet these things calm, it only benefited her in the situation, like every single time, you know? Like truly stressing out about it and like freaking out, would it make me feel good? I've been diagnosed with anxiety since first grade. I know when I start overthinking things, it's going to be worse for my body and my health. So I just don't let it get to that point. And I think my brain does that work. I don't even really have to like think about it consciously.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just had a guest on recently and it was kind of just on this vein where they're very confident in how they present and their director and just dealing with, a lot of chaos in their work. And it is something that being confident, cool, calm, collected is something that it just is important to be slow and intentional and take things one step at a time. And, I also suffer with anxiety and I am dealing with all these XYZ things. And I've gotten to places recently where it's just like, so much, especially like in event production where it just feels like there's just too much on the plate and something's inevitably going wrong. And I don't like falling into these anxious states where it feels like crippling. Like, when you are in a place of anxiety, what is some advice for those? Like, what are your tools to get out of that?
This is something that one of my first therapists actually taught me, was just like really watching your breathing, like consciously. Like that's the number one thing that will make that like tightness feeling in your chest kind of go away. So I really just try my best to like regulate my breathing. That's like advice that I've given other people. Also too, it helps me to like write it down. Like writing it down, the thing that I'm feeling and looking at it helps it feel more isolated in a sense, because I feel like when everything's up inside of your brain, you can think about a million different things within the span of 10 minutes probably. But when you're writing it down and it's like, I am feeling this way because of this thing happening, you're kind of able to like look at it, identify it, and then like realize a little bit like, oh, like this is manageable.
Yeah.
This is something that's like fine for me to do.
Yeah.
And I also always think too, like if it's things that are out of my control, I really don't stress that much about it. And I often try to remind myself that it's something not worth like kind of like stressing over. So I feel like when you're getting ahead of the feeling, it's more manageable than just like succumbing to it and just kind of like letting it lead you. I recognize and I'm like, oh, this is here to protect me. Like I'm feeling this feeling because my body feels like there's something wrong that it needs to regulate, and it's sending these signals to protect me. That's not a negative thing or a bad thing whatsoever at all. But what can we do to make it more manageable for me in this moment so my chest doesn't feel like my body's about to fall apart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And it is there in protection, but it's also, I think what I've coming up as I've gotten older, it's like your brain and your gut are two different things.
Yeah, correct.
And they're kind of at odds with each other a lot of times. And it's when it's scary to go with the gut when your brain is saying something else. You have to like soothe your brain like it's another person. No, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like whatever you're thinking is not accurate.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, seeing where a lot of my, childhood traumas were coming up still to this day, and it's how to soothe it is kind of by sincerely separating that little child within me and taking care of that little child, because I'll do more for that little child than I will from my adult self. Where
Yeah.
it's like I'll put myself last always.
Yeah,
That. But going into childhood, tell us about your childhood.
Yeah. My childhood, I definitely had a very specific one
Okay.
that I would say I have not come across a lot of people that could relate to, except for like my immediate friends. I grew up in entertainment industry. My mom's a songwriter and A&R, and now is like a manager of a bunch of different musicians. So I grew up around the world that I found myself choosing to stay in through adulthood, but it was definitely a very specific time because social media as we know it now was like not that then, kind of when I was starting to do it as a job. It's just like your sense of self is based around an algorithm, you know? And it's like, I think that's a thing that everyone relates to still now if you're pursuing anything creative, because you have to be online to do it. But I was 13 when I like started. So when you already are at a stage where you don't really know what your sense of self looks like and who you even are, because you're still growing and figuring that out. And to kind of have a bunch of strangers and people on the internet telling you what you are, it was a lot, you know, because it's just like, all right, like I think I know me, but there's a lot of other people that are acting like they know me much better. Maybe they're right because that's what they're seeing, you know?
Right.
And then you start kind of like feeding into that and believing it. Because before then, I had such a wonderful childhood. I love my mother so much. I grew up with my mom and my grandparents out here in LA. And it was just the best household for me to grow up in and live in. And I think the only time that I really struggled with my sense of self was when I started doing entertainment and social media as kind of like a job.
What's your grounding mantra in terms of like, because I mean, you're still so public, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, how do you handle that?
I don't really care what people think now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. I think it's I think there was like a good and bad thing that I dealt with it so early in my life that was a part of my normal growth that most teenagers would go through. Mine was how to not care when hundreds of thousands of people on the internet are telling you that they know you better than you know yourself, you know? And what I realized through therapy, what I realized through just like intentional thinking to myself is that it's the trust you put in yourself and your own sense of self that will always be that kind of like shining light through it, you know?
Side note,
Yeah.
I've communicated with your mom before. On just a fun fact,
Really?
on via like the social media in terms of like booking, because I've produced a lot of events, so it's so funny that
I love that.
yeah,
I
did not make that connection until afterwards.
After we
met, and I was doing some research. Like, wait,
I love that.
I met their mom. Yeah, so that's so
I
funny.
love
It's very
that.
sweet. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it is very sweet.
It's the best.
It really
Yeah.
incredible. So going into your coming out journey.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. When did you first know you were queer?
I feel like all my life, yeah, like I didn't really have like a really big kind of like moment, because I really did grow up in a very rare but like accepting household. So I never had to worry about like, don't wear that outfit, or like, don't paint your nails, or like, don't talk that way, or don't dress that, or do those things. So I kind of just got to be Bryce and find out what that looked like. And I feel like a lot of the times when people have their discovery that they are queer and they're not straight, it's usually because they're doing things that goes against society's idea of what a straight person is. So then they start adding that up kind of in their brain. I never really had that worry besides like boys. Like I feel like that's a thing. This is a side note. And this is something that I tell all my friends. And I think straight guys and queer men would really, and just queer people in general, would really relate to each other more if we recognize that both straight men and gay men both dealt with homophobia growing up. Like I have straight guy friends that would get called gay more than I would growing up. And it's like such a thing where we talk about like so many different types of things with like transphobia because of just society's idea of queer people and just people that are outside of heteronormativity. So that was just a side note that I'd like to say, because it's such an interesting thing, because I feel like I thought that was just boyhood. I thought it was just boyhood of like an annoying boy like saying that you were gay and like you just like brush it off and like move on from it, because I saw it happening to like everyone in my grade, you know? But I feel like the older that I got And the more that I realized, oh, like my attraction towards like both genders and like all these genders is like not considered like normal by like a lot of people, you know, because I wasn't really dealing with those conversations being had in my own household. But then you step into someone else's household, or you look at media online, or you like overhear a stranger say something and you're like, oh, like this thing that was made to seem so like normal to me because it is normal in my household, that's like not the way everyone else sees it, you know? So I'd say maybe like high school, honestly, which is really like far off, like that I really started to realize, okay, like this is like a conscious thing I have to like tell people, because if like I don't, they're gonna be very caught off guard when I'd start being Bryce and just I'm a very free person in my speech. And I would notice like me hanging around people and then like I'd like call like a guy hot or like cute or something, they'd be like, and I was like, oh, like why are we being weird right now, you know, like that's a very strange thing. But yeah, I think I didn't really have like a really major moment. I think it was just kind of like a journey of progression across many years of me realizing, oh, like maybe this is something that like I have to label myself for to make other people know where to place me mentally, you know?
So when you were in the younger years and you were seeing these homophobic slurs to people of, oh, you're gay, to like the straight kid, how was that landing for you?
I've just always seen people that put other people down as just like insecure, hurting people, you know? So I rarely in my life, except for I'd say maybe when it's been like a close friend that said something mean to me, ever really took it personal, because I just kind of met it with empathy for that other person. Like I just was like, oh, like I would never think to do this to someone else, which leads me to believe that you're not like happy at home, or like there's something going on with you that like you're not talking about. So this is kind of your way of dealing with it, which is a very interesting way to be like 8 years old or like 9 years old, you know?
Very profound.
But I know, but like my mom would really vouch. Like I would come home and I would tell her stories of like those things happening and like me defending like a friend, or I didn't really feel like I had to defend myself because I just was like, oh, like you're not like the brightest, you know? Like I was like, you're not, I don't even think you realize why you're doing this, you know? And we would laugh about it all the time because I just would be like, wow, like I'd be like, instead of me saying like I got bullied, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Bob, this kid tried to bully me and was trying to do X, Y, and Z. And like we would just laugh. So no, like I never really took it to heart when it was me. I definitely took it to heart when it was my friends. And when I saw people that weren't as strong in those thoughts and belief as me feeling less than about it, then it kind of was an issue. And there was a specific time that I'm thinking about that was in 8th grade, and it was one of my really good friends at the time, and I didn't know that they were gay whatsoever at all, but I saw someone put them down and say like homophobic slurs towards them, and I just felt the tone of how personal it felt for them. And then I was like, oh, like this is like a bit different than the way that it kind of like feels to me, or like I even see other people meaning it. And then of course I defended my friend, and we had to talk afterwards, and like they came out to me like directly, and I was like, oh, like we talk about how hot we think like that guy is like so much all the time. Like I didn't think anything about it. You didn't need to do this, but they were like, no, this makes me feel good that like I'm able to like say it and like talk about it. And I think just because not everyone needs that, it's important to leave space for people to have it. Yeah.
Is this need to come out the way we do, is that a societal structure that's in place and put on to us versus us just being... Well, it's also, I mean, like you're coming from a beautiful home unit, which a lot of people don't have that.
Exactly.
But to your friend who you already were kind of out to each other, like commenting on like things like that, like how hot that guy is.
Yeah.
But it's like
we were recapping Pretty Little Liars like every week. Like it's I was watching Gilmore Girls and Charmed with my dad, which is definitely older than your time. But no way.
And Buffy was like,
I've watched all 3 of those.
Okay, yes. So excited for the Buffy reboot.
Same.
But it's, I mean, that's a separate conversation. I'm like, okay, what? Like, what's going on? And this is not obvious, but
I could have that conversation in so many examples. My like boyfriend who came out later than I did, like would watch like show tunes like Hairspray with his mom and like parents who were like really surprised. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Okay. To defend, like that, liking show tunes, liking Buffy doesn't mean you're gay. Like there's straight people that
but
like.
they'll just be so surprised, and I'm like, do you get what I mean?
I do get what you mean. Yes. So what is are you a daily? It sounds like you're a journaler.
Yeah.
What's your journaling cadence?
Every single day. Sometimes it's mornings, sometimes it's nights. I used to kind of hold myself to like a schedule, and then I realized it felt more natural to like not, because like I might wake up first thing in the morning and I might not have anything truly to say, you know? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're not even like full sentences or like full ideas. It's just like, you know, I'll put like a time sometimes, I'll try to put like a day, and I'll be like good, bad, or like, okay, fine, tired today, emotionally exhausted, work was this, life's feeling this. Or sometimes like you would think that I was like trying to put out a New York Times bestselling novel, right, and it's like pages upon pages of thoughts. I had a time like that last week when I was on my flight back to LA, and 2 hours of the flight, I'm just writing intensively. Like the flight attendants were coming by, asking me if I needed water, and I was like, I'm good. I'm like, I'm cooking right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's such a good, healthy thing for me to do. I think it also gives me an excuse to be off my phone. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for me to be off my phone and like not to feel like I need to be accessible to things because my work is so revolved around my phone, mm-hmm, which I think is a bad excuse that I've given a lot of the times. I think it's a bad excuse a lot of people give, mm-hmm, that you still can put your phone down, even if your work's on your phone for at least an hour.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm journaling or just writing stuff down, it gives me an excuse because I'm so focused and locked in on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you do any affirmations with your journaling?
Yeah, all the time. Okay. All the time. Yeah. I start every single journal entry that I'm doing that I know is going to be one of those big ones, just with saying I'm showing gratitude towards X thing, mm-hmm, and it's always internal. Mm-hmm. It's always something internal, you know, like especially on the days where I know I have something negative to say, which I think is a really good thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I had to get out of like not being toxic positivity, you know, and always being toxically positive, you know, and just being like, I need to be grateful for this. And it's like, no, you should be able to be negative sometimes and be upset about these things. But when you're doing them, make sure you're looking at it from like an actual fair lens, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll just say like, I am showing gratitude and I'm grateful that I'm in the position to do the job that I'm doing. Although that's true, right. I am very stressed out that I have to feel like I have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm pulled in this many directions. I put out a piece of art and work and people were mean about it. And I think instead of just brushing it off my shoulder and acting like it doesn't matter, it's okay to talk about it and say that just because I might not care truly what they're saying, it still does suck that people would do that to my work, you know? So that's kind of like the way that I structure the affirmations, is where I'm really always seeking like to make sure that I'm being proud of myself internally. And it's that same similar thing that you were saying about your inner child, because that's what I always would do growing up. And my mom would do it a lot for me when I would come home stressed about stuff. And I obviously don't live with my mother anymore. So I'm doing the work she would do for myself now, you know?
Yeah. Going back to the coming out, was there any piece of media, books, film, TV, music that was really helpful for you?
Everyone thinks I'm a liar when I say this. Glee changed my life.
Okay.
Glee changed my life.
Yeah.
Like seeing just like gay people stand up for themselves in media in a comedic way was like so like it made me feel like I wasn't crazy, because that's like who I was. That's what I would do. And I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Like this actually is the right way to stand up for yourself. I'm not just being an asshole to people, you know?
Yeah.
It was so great. And it's funny because Darren Chris we have the same vocal coach. And I will always tell my vocal coach, like, probably more than I should. I'm talking his ear off. I'm like, you don't know what that man did for me. You don't know what that straight man did for me, you know? Mm-hmm. Just like seeing these queer stories being told and them having even good endings and like happy endings, but also like not just being, I think there's so many ways you can depict queer people. And the one that I feel like we need to see more in media is queer people being strong, like them being strong. And I think that show did such a great job at showing those sensitive moments, but also showing queer people defending themselves. And I thought it was just really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just your point, it's so important that it's not just that sad sob story that typically is the coming out story, and it's like pretty tragic, and it's in high school or college, and it's just, we're so much more than that. I mean, that might be true for a lot of people's stories.
Yeah.
That's why it keeps being such a trope.
Told so much, yeah.
But it's, so BabyGay, to give you a little background, like started as a web series, and I wrote it as like a fictional version of my coming out story, which is like a coming out later in life and stuck between two worlds of like the straight world and the queer world.
Yeah.
And kind of could have done either or. So like actively making the choice to be the authentic self, which is more right, obviously. But it's a comedy. It's in a comedy tone, which I think was unique because there just isn't as much queer comedy. Like there needs to be more and more representation.
Yeah, that's why I've been like really loving. Did you see Overcompensating yet?
I started watching. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw it was renewed, which is great.
You gotta finish.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta finish. Yeah, it's so that like
yes.
It's, again, coming out later, like navigating both of those kind of worlds, but also showing like the comedic, like funny side to it.
Exactly.
I think, just really great. Adults on FX is really good too.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my friends, Jack Ninnon, is in that, and same thing, like showing just like queer funny.
Right.
Like I love a good, funny, queer, gay TV show.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I really was into, and still am, like a lot of like fantasy sci-fi shows and stuff like that. So there was another show called Shadowhunters that was based off of like the Mortal Instruments book, and there's like a really big like gay like love trope inside of it, and you just see like these two really strong characters that there's so many people around them telling them like, no, you can't do this, and they're like, screw you, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah.
And again, like I just was like, wow, like I love this because one, when I'm watching a lot of like fantasy and like nerdy shit, like I'm not seeing a lot of gay people in general.
Right.
And I'm like, that type of like trope inside of it was just like so special for me to see. Again, just like all before the age of 18, like
Right.
I feel like that's like, I'm very lucky, again, the time that I've grown up, that it was something, even though it wasn't as much as I'd like it to be. And I think it's much more now for a lot of kids. I was glad that I had what I had, because I talk to my friends that are like 8 to 10 years older than me, and they didn't have that at all, Yeah.
It's great. I mean, it's so interesting to see how social media has changed and how growing up around it has just how it affects people's relationships with their phone or with social media. Like, because I didn't have a phone until I was in 8th grade. And
really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Wow.
So
you were unplugged.
I was unplugged.
You were unplugged.
I was basically with a fax machine,
I could never.
like
I could never.
I also feel like, because I was very much insecure, struggling with my identity in high school and below, and seeing how it's, with my friends who have kids that are that age now, and seeing how they're all on Snapchat, and like how the functionality, I think, is like everyone's location is just on. So like they'll see if everyone was invited to the party and they weren't, like how painful that is. And we had that, but you just didn't know. You didn't have confirmation that everyone was there.
You're not like getting a text message from your friend telling you they're somewhere and checking their location and they're not. And you're like,
right. For me, it's like I'm always running late. So like I'm on the way, and it's like I'm not on the way. I'm still at home. And it's like that would be what could be. I'm like, just look at my location, know that I'm not on the way.
Don't even check. Don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. Yeah.
So okay, let's go into your career. So like music, where did it all begin? Because you're a musician, you're an actor, you do all the things. Like,
so there's a PBS show called A Children's Place, which was one of my like first things that I did when I was 4 or something like that. And then it's like that like sound like voiceover from Euphoria, where it's like Cassie knew who she was. No, Maddie knew who she was from a very young age. I like came on set one day and I like told my mom, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And she was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And she was like, okay. And I like quit on the spot, and like she took me off set. And I was like, wow, that's like still me today. Like if I don't want to do something, like I will just not waste anyone's time and stop. So that was my first kind of like introduction into the world of entertainment.
You know what you want.
I quit very young. I retired very young. Stopped for a bunch of years because I was just like, I want to focus on sports. played basketball for, even through me starting to do entertainment again, but like in total for like 10 years or something like that, 9 years. Ran track for like 7 years. So like really was wanting to be a kid, you know, and like do those type of things. I didn't really want to like act or like go on set or do anything of that sort. But then through like the end of elementary school, beginning of middle school, I kind of was like, well, like I have this like kind of like knack for like writing. Like I really enjoy like writing and like telling stories and like talking, but I'm like talking to myself like in my notebook, you know? Because it's really funny. It's like what we do as journaling is kind of what like kids are doing now on TikTok and like social media, you know? They're putting their notebook down and they're talking to just people, you know? That's the same thing as me when TikTok didn't exist and I'm just like writing to myself and I'm like, I did blank today. And I think da da da. And it's like, babe, I'm talking to myself, you know? So I really wanted to kind of like post things like online. My mom was really, one thing that she was strict-ish on was she didn't want me to have social media like before like high school. Like she just was like, I don't think the way she was like, people are mean, people are not nice. Me as a black person in general, she was just like, I don't want you exposed to the type of hate that can come from a bunch of strangers, you know, because I've like dealt with discrimination my entire life, but those are situations that are isolated to a day. But now we live in a world where one video there could be 10 different states of thousands of people insulting you at once, you know? So she didn't want me to do that. And I was a kid, so I didn't listen. So I like made like a Snapchat and Instagram because I wanted to talk to my friends. My friends were like, you don't have one? Like, that's so lame. And I was like, so I like got one when I wasn't supposed to, so bad. And I started posting these kind of like video like diaries. So everything that I was putting in my journal, I was just like on lunch break going through these steps at like my school, putting up my camera, and then I was just like talking and then like would post it.
Were you like putting up a tripod and doing your camera?
No. Phone on cement, sidewalk, like crooked, picking it up. Phone would fall over. You didn't have CapCut to edit then, so you just would put the whole thing up. And I stopped doing it for a while because I was doing some project for school for one of my classes that I was doing. And then I just remember this kid that like I did not like him at all whatsoever. He was a little rotten kid, you know? He comes up to me with like this big grin smile. And I remember I was like, oh, God, this is how I'm starting my day. Like it was early. It was like 7 a.m. And I was like, he's about to piss me off so early on a Monday. And he was like, did you see your Instagram? Did you see your Instagram? And I was like, what? Like, no. Like I was kind of giving him attitude. And he was like, did you see your Instagram? You're like famous now. I like go to my Instagram. One of my videos that I posted that was like half video diary and half me singing a Justin Bieber song had like over like 2 million views, which was like very crazy for Instagram. I think that's still crazy for Instagram now, you know? And I'm like looking through these comments and like everyone's like, wow, you're so talented. Who's this visionary? And I'm like, well, it's Bryce Xavier, duh.
How old are you at this point?
11, 12, something like that. It was 7th grade. Yeah, it was 7th grade this happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, who is he, you know? So, of course, I kept doing it. So I kept putting out videos, kept posting covers of, like, songs that I really liked. And it just kept spiraling and blowing up from there.
Wow.
Then at that time, before ByteDance turned TikTok into TikTok, it was something called Musical.ly. I don't know if you remember. And I started posting on Musical.ly, but I was one of the first people to post on Musical.ly and like not use like a lip sync audio. Like I was just uploading like with the audio that the video had, you know, which I think was a really big reason why a lot of people liked my stuff because it was like different content in the algorithm. I did do some scary lip syncs. They're out there.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I've tried to delete them all.
I know this only because my niece was on Musical.ly before. And so did everything just transfer into TikTok or was there like an ending of Musical.ly and TikTok?
No, so it was a full transfer. So I was like, so Musical.ly at the time invited me to headquarters and I went and they were
Which is where?
It was in Santa Monica.
Oh.
It was in Santa Monica, yeah. Headquarters here. And they were like, were like about to like make a very big change. And I was like, OMG, like, are they gonna make me like the president of Musical.ly or something? Mind you, I'm like 16 or like 17 or something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like they invited me all the way here for this. And they were like, Musical.ly's over. And I was like, my job is gone. But they were like, we're transitioning it into this new platform that's called TikTok. They told me like all the things that were going to be the different. They were like, your account, if you can choose to opt to keep your account that you had for Musical.ly, or you can restart. We could set it up for you. You're not going to lose your verification, like all of this stuff. And I was like, oh, sick. I was like, cool. So like nothing's really changing for me, like if I don't want it to. And then they did a really big event where like at a specific time, they were like, grab your phones, and it made the whole transition into TikTok. It was so dramatic. Like, I know it just got too out of control because in a good way, brands were reaching out to me, companies were reaching out to like partner, work together, fly me places. And not like, again, like I'm not even 14, 13 yet. Right. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Yeah. But my mom was really supportive about it. I told her at the end of middle school, right before graduation, I said that it was something that I kind of wanted to try and do full time, you know? I went to a private school that was really like, there were steps to get me to the school that I wanted to, which I wanted to go to Stanford and study architecture. And I was taking so many extra, even high school classes in middle school before then, just to hopefully be able to do that. Wow. So it was a really big decision for me to say, I want to do online school, which is what I did for the rest of high school. And like, I didn't go to college. And for my mom, who supported so much money for my education and all these things, it wasn't even like a fight or like a conversation or anything. She was just like, do you feel like it's something you're going to give your all to? Do you think it's something that you won't regret the decision? I was honest with her. I was like, I don't know if I'm being honest, but I was like, I can always go back to school. I don't know if I can always have this opportunity to do this now. Yeah. And literally a week later, we were like looking up online schools for me to do. She quit where she was working to her job to help me manage it all. Wow. The exact like same month, and we kind of like built all of this up together. And me 10 years later now, I'm very grateful because the social media landscape, music landscape is not the same. Mm-hmm. Like I did it in a time where it was truly probably the easiest that it's been since TikTok and social media has existed to do it. Yeah. So I'm just like really glad I was in 7th and 8th grade knowing some shit, you know?
Right. Well, you know, this is, I mean, I'm a believer and I say this like every freaking time. It's like everything happens for a reason. Yeah. And also things are like, in the mindset of don't chase, attract, like you attracted that. Became easy for you, and that's how things, then you found your alignment, and the miracles will just happen. And it just, I'll speak for myself, working my ass off, like this I kind of fell into this whole thing, but I'm now in this alignment where I'm so passionate about it, and then like these miracles will just happen. And it's like that to me, it's an affirmation, like I'm moving in the right direction. Yeah. Like, do you get still these affirmations from your whatever, your higher power, the universe, like that you're moving in the right direction? Like what's your
all the time? Yeah, I feel like I really trust my own self and like judgment, and I don't really like harbor on like, oh, bad things are like happening to me. I just see it as like, it's a redirection sometimes. Like this redirection had to happen for some other reason, because it always makes sense. Like it always makes so much sense. Like even the stuff like with my house that like most people would like break down and like fall apart for. I had my weekend. I gave myself a weekend. I was like, feel all the feelings. And I just was like, you know, this is what's happening. This is the direction I'm supposed to be in. It's for some reason that I probably can't see that source is putting me here for. And I'm just going to like keep moving with it, you know? Yeah. So
let's go into some of your music.
Yeah.
Tell us about what we need to be listening to.
Yeah. So I just released a single called Stupid.
Yes.
Which is, it's a song about a person and a topic, anything that makes you act very crazy outside of yourself, and stupid, you know? There's the music video that we shot for it. It's just like so phenomenal. It's my dream video. Like I've dreamt of this concept probably since I was like in elementary school, like watching like pop star music videos. And I was like, wow, I can't wait till like I get mine. And like I like made it there, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like a really surreal experience that I'm just in right now in my life. I'm like really lucky. I love my team.
Yeah.
I love my crew. Like I love everyone I make music with.
Yeah.
I'm a very happy camper right now in music. It's been
incredible.
great. Sold out my show in New York, which was like so
That's
much fun.
huge.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
like, thank you. Yeah, it was so much fun singing unreleased music. Because you really get like confirmation that like you're not just like the crazy one liking it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. This
Right.
is good. This
Yeah.
is a good song.
Yeah.
And it was great because my label was there too. So like I was like, you guys saw how loud they were for that
Right.
one, right?
Yeah.
You saw how loud they were for that.
Yeah.
That one should come out. Yeah.
So I mean, how do you navigate that? Because I know being an artist and then
Yeah.
working with people that are more on the business end
Yeah.
of things, like there's sometimes some push and pull and
Yeah.
and not alignment in terms of like release scheduling, or
Yeah.
how do you navigate that?
Hey, Baby Gays, if you're enjoying the podcast and you're interested in learning more about the Baby Gay community, make sure to visit our website at www.baby.gay to discover more info about our events, merch, and all the ways to connect. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and share. Love you.
How do you navigate that?
My team has so much trust in me and my artistry. And I've only been working with a full music team for the last 2 years after 7 years of just doing it myself and under like my mom's management company. And I waited that long and denied deal offers and all these things because I knew that I'd have to work with a team that truly gets my vision as a Black queer artist in a genre that is not usually done by Black queer artists. And trust that I've been doing this as a job for a decade and I know what I'm talking about, you know? And I also have the trust in them that what they've been doing has been for 20 years, as long as I've been alive. And I have that trust in them that they're going to know what they do, you know? The issues that we've had is the song is so good. Like we want to make sure we're doing the best with this thing. And they're like, no, like we need that extra ad-lib. And I'm like, it's unnecessary. And they're like, no, we need to hear more of you. And I'm like, fine, fine. If you want to hear me so bad, you know, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love my team.
I mean, it goes back to your calm, cool, collected
Yeah.
confidence. Like knowing that when something's not right, just taking the first offer, that's not always
Yeah.
right. Like, I mean, I know, yeah. So
And it sucked. It sucked too, because it's just like there's been times like when my first really big queer song Romeo came out.
Yeah.
All the offers and things that I was getting, that I was just like, that year, so many of my friends were signing to labels and signing with new management companies and deals and all this stuff, and I was like the only one that didn't. And I was like, that sucks, you know? Like when you think about it, it's just like, yeah, as an artist, you like idolize this idea of what made it means for you, and it's signing to this big label, and then you go on tour, and then you're Taylor Swift. Like that's what you think. And it's just like, that's like not real life, you know?
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
That's like an okay thing. Like your time will happen. You just can't like take anything. You can't take anything, you know? I really feel like Source in the Universe tests you. Like it'll give you something that's really close to what you want. So close to it. But there's a thing that you know that is not ideal for you, and it'll see if you take it. It'll see if you truly trust in yourself and your vision, and if you're going to wait for that thing that you truly want, or if you're just going to take something that's like almost there and like almost okay, you know? And I apply that into every aspect of my life, relationships, friendships, work, jobs, no matter what it is. I'm like, just because it's almost what I want, if it's not something that feels good to me and it doesn't feel good in my heart and soul, I don't need it. I'll be fine. I'm good now. I'm happy with my life now. So if I know there's something great coming in the future, even better, you know?
yeah. I love how, I mean, let's talk about I Love You Boy. And then I Love You Boy Harder.
Yes.
So give us, that journey.
So I Love You Boy. I Love You Boy. We'll call it legacy version, the first version. We made so many different songs with that production. Like there's 8 versions that are just like in my files of like, we made something that felt more country, more alternative, more rock, which came out. Like a ballad stripped piano, hybrid ballad, which is the main version that came out, made something that was a little jazzier, made something that was a little more electronic. All because I knew the song was a hit. Like I knew it was a great record, and my team did, my producer did, my friends did. I just knew that it was such a beautiful story that had to be told, but I needed it to feel really right, you know? And it's that same exact thing. We had versions that I was like, it's almost there. It's enough that I could put out. People want to hear it. There's like videos going viral about the demo version. I should just get it out. And I was like, nope. I'm going to take the extra time and like work on it, you know?
Yeah.
And what we ended with was harder in the main version, and I couldn't decide. And my team was like, well, like, why do we decide? Why not just do both? Let's do the one that's like kind of more ballady first, and then have a version that kind of elevates it come out afterwards. And I was like, that's a damn good idea.
Love it.
That is a damn good idea. So that's what we did. And I was in Europe traveling for sessions, working on my debut album that will be coming out next year.
Yeah.
And meeting so many people, having so many beautiful experiences, brought my boyfriend Matthew with me, and we just had like a great creative time filming videos for like the song, and it was such a beautiful thing. I was there in Paris, our first time together, in front of the Eiffel Tower on release day when the song came out, like a song that I wrote about our relationship. It was really, really sweet. So yeah, that song and the whole just like release like rollout was like very special to me, because it was just, I didn't have to do anything. I was just living my life in my relationship, and I was like, whoa, like, yeah, this is how it should be as an artist. Like your stories should be so close to you that it doesn't feel like a task to like jump into the headspace of it, you know? Like I'm always kind of in the headspace of my music because it's like me.
Yeah.
And like I write my songs, so
Exactly.
it's great. Yeah.
That's where, you know, art needs to be authentic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
it pours out of you because it is you, and that's what will resonate with people because they're dealing with XYZ same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like when things don't work, it's because it's inauthentic to the artist maybe, and because it's constructed by the label or, you know, whatever.
Because it's like, that's why you don't want to, that's why a lot of artists don't, I feel like, in my opinion, want to make like content or like videos for their music, because like it just doesn't feel like natural, you know? And I'm always excited to make visuals and like talk about my songs, because I'm like, these are like my life stories that I wrote, you know? So I always have fun during release rollouts, and like I Love You Boy definitely has been like my like favorite thus far. Up until Stupid, I think this is going to be like my full official favorite for sure.
What is it like? When do artists make a video versus not? Like it does feel like kind of. I mean, from a non-musical artist, like it does feel like it's kind of random if there's a music video attached to a song or not.
Yeah, so a lot of the times it's mostly just like, for me personally, if I have a story that I think needs to be told outside of you just listening to it, you know, I felt like I Love You Boy, you got exactly what I was trying to say through the song and through any content and videos that I was making. For Stupid, when I wrote the song, there was an immediate visual. I was like, this concept, I've been waiting for me to be able to like do like a crazy ass video of me being like a worker inside of like a vintage like 70s diner, you know? I was like, that is like something I've been thinking about for so long that I think would be so fun. So naturally, through the process of finishing it, I'm like talking my team's ear off. I'm like, we got to do this. We got to do this. And they're like, fine. We got to do this. We got to do it. And then we did it.
That's great. That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into our next round, which is rapid fire questions.
All right, let's do it.
First song you ever wrote?
First song I ever wrote, it's called Fall in Love Again. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It was a song that I wrote in my bedroom. It was the first like a full official actual structured song
that
I put out. 15, 14 or something like that. And I think it was really good. It blew up on SoundCloud and like did really well on Spotify.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of my like first release songs that I ever had, and it's about to hit 1 million streams actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Song that you're most proud of?
Romeo.
Romeo.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a very, very difficult time in my life, and I think it was a really big, beautiful piece of art. And I think it did a lot of good, you know? There's like tens of thousands of people that shared their story and came out that year because of that song. Like I met so many kids that told me they came out to their parents, and I'm really proud of what I did with that record for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That makes it so like, I don't know, just so validating. It's
I
like
know.
this is what the community needs.
Yeah, I met this kid who told me that he loved the song at VidCon like 2 years ago. and he came up to me like crying, and then I met his dad the next day at VidCon, and he told me that he came out to him because he met me and he like had the courage to do it, and he like told me like thank you for like being a role model to my son.
Yeah.
And it was the sweetest thing ever.
That's
so wholesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dream collaboration.
I have 3 categories when people
Okay.
ask me this question. Songwriter. I
Okay.
would love to work with Amy Allen. She's the amazing genius behind everything Sabrina Carpenter's doing right now.
Okay.
Music wise, like I like an actual like collab. I would like love to work with the 1975 would be sick. And then production. I love Jack Antonoff. Sue me. Yeah,
okay.
working with Bleachers would be amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Manifesting.
We're manifesting.
We're Ryan Lewing manifesting.
Yes.
First queer icon you looked up to.
Madonna. I'd probably say Madonna, for sure. Yeah, I think Madonna or probably Bowie. Yeah, yeah.
Word your chosen family would use to describe you.
Eccentric, for sure. Eccentric or crazy, for sure.
Hand in hand. Yeah. What's a coming out anthem that hits home for you?
See, this is one that I feel like met me like many like I wasn't like a kid anymore, but like I'd probably say like Troye Sivan's Bloom. Yeah, like I feel like that song like in general and just like him talking about like just like gay love, especially with just like in sexual experiences. I think it was like a really pretty, beautiful like moment that I love. Yeah, that's like the first thing that came to my mind for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Go-to karaoke, Somewhere Only We Know by Keen, for sure.
What's a TikTok trend that you secretly love?
I love like the couples that like fake like they're like not filming, like getting their partner's reaction to like lying about something or making a joke. Like they'll be like, "We're not going to your favorite thing today." They're like, "What?" As if the camera's like not right there. I'm secretly like I'm like, God, you gullible idiots. But I love it.
Yeah. What is your favorite social platform?
Favorite? You're gonna get me in trouble for saying this. Pinterest.
You know, Pinterest is really making a big come up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I use Pinterest every day of my life. I have a board for any thought inside of my brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're starting to sell on Pinterest, I think.
What?
I was just at a conference and I was learning all these.
Okay, let's chat.
Yeah. I think they're like trying to become more than just boards.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Pinterest so much. I was literally on Pinterest right before I saw you today.
Yeah. And what do you like? What are you Pinterest? Like, what boards are you creating? Like,
So outfits for shows.
Oh,
So
that's
like
good.
show concept outfits and like makeup that I'll do like with my makeup artist.
Yeah.
Music videos. Like I work really hands on with like my directors and producers for it. So I'll send them kind of like a lookbook of even like the coloring that I'm thinking. And then most recently it's house stuff because I have to redo my house. So I have a board for like the rooms that I have to redo, and I'm like, what should I do different this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It is. That's what it's meant for.
It's great.
Yeah. What is an emoji you use the most?
An emoji that I use the most. I use the like disco kind of like dance guy with like, and more recently I use a pink heart. Like since I dyed my hair pink, like that's been like my like favorite emoji for like the last like year and a half.
Hidden talent?
I play violin. Yeah. I've played violin for like many years. Yeah, I learned when I was like 6 or like 7 or something.
Have you played on any of your songs?
I haven't. MG's been asking me to do it for so long.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of incorporating it for like a live show for like a tour thing that I
would
do.
be incredible.
Yeah, would be a lot of fun.
Secret surprise bust out a violin. That would be amazing.
And oh my gosh, I'm good at making maps.
Tell me more.
Have you heard of Dungeons and Dragons before?
Yeah.
So I have a D&D group with like my like best friends that like we all like game together, and I'm like the DM for this like group, but I'm making all of our maps like from scratch, and I'm really good at it.
Is this in the game or like by hand?
No, this is like by hand, like separate outside of it. I'm like making all these maps, and like I'm really good at drawing them out, like making the rooms, everything. And I just found this out like 3 months ago that I'm good at this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Celebrity crush growing up?
Celebrity crush growing up, Darren Criss was probably like a top one. Sorry. Yeah, Darren Criss, Matt Bomber for sure. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
That's a top 3.
Great group.
Thank you. Thank you.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Okay.
Morning for sure. Yeah, I definitely can rally and stay up, but if I could be in bed before 11 and up at like 7, that's my ideal life. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that too.
No mornings for you?
I do mornings, but I just have a hard time getting to bed. Like I have a hard time going to sleep before midnight, even though I want to.
Yeah. Is it that damn phone?
You know what?
Is it that damn phone?
You know what? It might be.
No, something that has helped me out is I charge my phone on the opposite side of the room.
That's good.
So like and honestly, me now though, I'm such a grandpa. I fall asleep most of the time before I can even reach my charger, so my phone's dead in the morning. Yeah. But yeah, I charge it on the opposite side, and I'm like, oh, once I go in the bedroom, leave it there.
That's
because
good.
I used to doom scroll all the time, especially like I think it was hard transitioning after COVID and quarantine, like 2021, 2022. For bed, 2 hours probably, just like looking online. And now I'm like,
it's when you're in bed and you're scrolling, the time flies by.
Oh yeah, no, there's some phenomenon.
There's something
that's happening.
Yes,
because that's so true. Like I would look and it's like 11 and it's like 1 and I'm like,
what? Literally, where did those 2 hours
I'm like,
go?
I think I watched 30 videos. What's happening?
Yeah,
you know.
And like I've scrolled during the day and it never goes that fast.
Never goes back.
I'm like, what's happening in bed portal? Like,
I know.
Portal of time. And then lastly, what's your favorite affirmation or mantra?
Favorite affirmation or mantra? Oh, I can do it.
Oh.
Yeah, I just tell myself all the time, like I can do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I end a lot of like my journal entries that way, like where I'm stressed about something, I'm like, but I can do it.
Yeah. Okay, last segment, it's called My First Time.
Nice.
So this is where we share with our community members either like a first queer crush, kiss, sexual experience, something that kind of the goal is to help those who are still struggling kind of just realize how we all have...
It sucks and it's awkward for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Yes. Okay, so there was this guy.
Uh-huh.
There's this guy.
Tell me more.
There's this guy.
Yeah.
Who wasn't out and is still not out to this day.
Know many of those?
Yeah. We were at a sleepover. For one of my friend's birthday, and like another friend was flirting with this guy that night, and we've all been friends for like a while, and I was like, oh, like this is weird, this is interesting, right? And he wasn't really like flirting back, and I was like, oh no, like maybe he likes one of the other girls here or something like that. And it's like the end of the night, and he's like cuddling me because we're all like sleeping out like on like the floor, like we like got like this like apartment Airbnb for like the birthday, and then we just like ended up like making out, and then like the next couple months afterwards, like that was like my like little like we were like little flirties or whatever, but it was just so awkward because it was one of those things where it was my first experience like being in a canon gay situation where you're more comfortable with the thing that's happening and what you're doing than like the other person is, and it was just such like a jarring, awkward experience, like the first time that we were trying to like hold hands with each other and then just be like, yeah, we're both sweaty, maybe we should stop, you know, like being scared of like the kiss that you're doing, because as if it's not just like a normal kiss that you would do any other time. Yeah, really increasingly awkward, but it's so funny because like we really thought we were being sneaky.
Yeah.
And the next morning, I guess we were so flirty with each other, and I thought I was being the most incognito ever. I can't hide anything. I can't hide anything on my face. I can't hide anything whatsoever. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And like 3 years later, that best friend that I spoke of with the location I was talking with you about, she also is queer and ended up coming out. And we both were like very vocal about that through our childhood. She was talking with me and she was telling the story, but she was telling the story in a very different way than I was telling the story. She was like, yeah, she was like, you guys were bros the night before and then woke up the next morning. You would think you guys were married. And I was like, wait, that was obvious? I was like, you guys, you knew that? And she was like, yes, we all knew about it. We were all talking about it. So confused. I was like, no. I was like, you guys thought he was still straight. And she was like, no, we didn't. We didn't think that about either of you guys. And I was like, oh, got it. Yeah, you're never as sneaky as you think you are, and that's what I've realized. You're more obvious than you probably
and that's
think
okay.
You're gonna be. And that's okay.
That's okay. So, were you making out in front of your were you right?
Everyone was sleeping, and we're like,
Like you think that no one's
like,
gonna hear that?
I thought everyone was passed out. I thought I was being. You know what? You're on my side.
Yeah, right.
What are we doing
You're
here?
right.
What's
Sorry.
happening right now?
I support.
You're on my
I
side.
support.
I was being sneaky.
Yes.
My friends just have big old ears. That's the consensus, okay? I was not the problem.
Correct. Well, on that note, this has been incredible, Bryce. Where can people find you on social?
You could find me anywhere at Bryce Xavier, BryceXavier. And don't tell that story to anyone else, please.
We will not tell.
Thank you.
Yes. Well,
Back to the whisper.
back to the whispering. Thank you so much, Bryce. And baby gays, remember, coming out looks good on you.
Coming out looks really good on you. Yeah. Bye, baby gays.